What's going on there, everyone? Um, I was going through the news, looking around, and came across an article from Breitbart about how Democrats, some Democrats, not all probably, still believe that the FBI and the Russians stole the election from Hillary Clinton. Now, this is a stunningly retarded assumption. If you look at the evidence that's at hand, excuse me, when it comes to the Democratic Party and the FBI, well, they kind of got things sewn up a little bit between each other. They're kind of friends with each other, seems like, because the FBI has been investigating Donald Trump for how long? Over 2 years now. Everyone and their mother has been investigating Donald Trump for something or another for 2 years now. And they can't find nothing on him. That's pretty simple. But I'm gonna read this article, and then we'll take it from there. Let's see what they had to say. A former Alabama state senator claimed Sunday that Hillary Clinton won the 2016 presidential election, but the FBI and the Russian government stole it from her. She won the election and it was stolen from her, said Hank Sanders, a lifelong Democrat, in his speech introducing Clinton at an award ceremony to induct the failed presidential candidate into the National Voting Rights Museum's Women's Hall of Fame. It was stolen from her by the FBI. It was stolen from her by the Russians. No. But I'll continue to read. Several reporters present at the ceremony said the line prompted large applause. For the last 2 years, Clinton has repeatedly blamed the FBI, Russia, and a long list of other scapegoats for her election loss. Speaking before the Women International in New York, Clinton said, I was on the way to winning until a combination of Jim Comey's letter on October 28th and Russian WikiLeaks raised doubts in the minds of people who were inclined to vote for me, but got scared off. And the evidence for that intervening event is, I think, compelling, persuasive, and so we overcame a lot in the campaign, she added. This is stuff about her she says is compelling and persuasive. Yeah, it is compelling and persuasive. Because a lot of those facts are actual facts. They're not just someone that doesn't like you saying things. They're actual factual things that happen. But, yeah. In the same speech, the failed presidential candidate said the Trump campaign coordinated with the goals of Russian President Vladimir Putin in the election, claiming that Putin certainly interfered in the election to hurt her and aid her opponent. That's not necessarily true either. There were these Russian bot farms going on social media, and they were for both Clinton and Trump. They were just being arseholes, really. You know, doing the stuff that the United States does when there's foreign elections. Except we do it on a way better scale. Bigger scale. In her speech over the weekend, she claimed that Republicans targeted her supporters in the reliably Democratic state of Wisconsin with voter suppression tactics. I was the first person who ran for president without the protection of the Voting Rights Act, she declared. No, you were an awful, awful candidate, and no one liked you. You stole the race from Bernie Sanders, which I'm glad that didn't happen either, because we don't need a socialist leader. If you look at how they're portraying Sanders now, he's not even being classified as a Democrat, period. The Democrats are shunning him and his socialist tactics because even they know that Americans do not want socialism. This is America. We believe in the land of freedom, rights, and opportunities, and with socialism, you get a lot of that taken away. Pretty much all of it. President Trump won the Electoral College, and no, AOC, that is not a physical place. I understand you're confused about that. With 304 votes compared to 227 votes for Clinton. Victory in Wisconsin only gave him 10 electoral votes, so Wisconsin really wasn't that big of a deal. He still had a vast lead over you. In addition to being inducted into the Women's Hall of Fame, Clinton was awarded the International Unity Award at the Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King Unity Breakfast in Selma, Alabama. She shouldn't have got any award, except being the best failed candidate the Democrats have ever put up, which was one of several events held during the annual Selma Bridge Crossing Jubilee. Clinton was joined at the gathering by Reverend Jesse Jackson and Democrat presidential candidates Senator Bernie Sanders and Cory Booker. That's pretty funny that she's trying to somewhat align herself with the Bernie Sanders after completely destroying his 2016 presidential run because of her own arrogance and the Democratic Party's arrogance. They thought she was a shoo-in. She'd be the first woman president. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman running for president. That doesn't matter. It's your message. It's your message. And the Democrats have been given the same false messages for decades now. We're going to give you this. We're going to do this. And then when they get in office, everything that they've done ends up hindering the people. Look at Obamacare. In theory, Obamacare type situation, Medicare for all, whatever, is a good thing, in theory. But in practice, it's a horrible thing, especially when it was made unconstitutional via the individual mandate. You were being punished for not capitulating to a forced action by the government, which is unconstitutional, and it's no way to run our republic. But they say that the FBI, so this Alabama Democrat, Mr. Saunders, is saying that the FBI and the Russians stole the election. Well, like I said, I don't believe that's true at all. The FBI has done nothing for Clinton except help her and hide her crimes from the people and make sure she doesn't get prosecuted. Which she should be prosecuted. They go after everybody else. Why can't they go after a Democrat? Seems like the FBI only wants to prosecute Republicans or conservatives or anybody with ties to Donald Trump. But there's a long list. The Clintons, everyone knows the Clintons are not a clean political family. They have many skeletons in their closet. Excuse me one second. They have many skeletons in their closet. They're just a dark, seedy family. Here's just a list of some, not all, but some of the scandals that the Clintons have been involved in. 1992, you had Whitewater, which the allegation, the granddaddy of all Clinton scandals, surfaced during Bill Clinton's bid for presidency. It centered on financial contributions by Bill and Hillary Clinton into real estate entity known as Whitewater Development Corporation. During his time as an Arkansas state official. Eventually, the Justice Department and independent counsels launched investigations. There was pretty much nothing down. Or nothing done about it. I mean, nothing real big. The outcome, neither Bill nor Hillary Clinton faced prosecution for their involvement in Whitewater, but their public statements about the matter and the handling of the documents that went missing, convenient, and seems to be a pattern, and later reappeared, came under intense scrutiny. Their partners in the real estate investment were Jim McDougal and his then wife Susan. Jim McDougal was convicted of fraud charges for making bad loans, and he died of heart disease in a Texas prison. Susan was convicted of fraud in connection with obtaining a $300,000 federally backed small business loan. She refused to answer grand jury questions in the Whitewater affair and was held in contempt of court, spending 18 months in jail. Bill Clinton pardoned her before he left the White House in early 2001. So you can see there's a lot of, just off that, you can see where like a mafioso type of connection has been established with Bill Clinton and the people that he ran. He had his own little army. Then you had Travelgate in 1993. The allegation, not long after Bill Clinton entered the White House in May 1993, 7 workers in the travel office were fired. The White House attributed the ouster to ethics and financial record-keeping problems in the office. Critics said the Clintons got rid of the government workers to make room for their cronies. The FBI was tapped to the investigation. The outcome, the Justice Department, at least one congressional panel, and special prosecutor all probed the reasons for the firing. Independent counsel Ken Starr found no blame rested with Bill Clinton. Another independent counsel scrutinized Hillary Clinton's involvement and statements about the firings, but 7 years after the event, he found no bias to bring any charges against her. Of course not. The death of Vince Foster, 1993. Allegation: White House lawyer Vince Foster was found dead in a Virginia park in 1993. Republican lawmakers and conservative interest groups suggested foul play and death, perhaps tied to swirling ethics investigations of the Clintons that Foster had handled. In a document found in his briefcase, Foster wrote, "I was not meant for the job or the spotlight of public life in Washington. Here, ruining people is considered sport." The outcome of that, investigators and family members said Foster had struggled with depression and fears about keeping his security clearance if he sought help for the problem. Multiple investigations by the FBI, the Justice Department, and special prosecutors concluded that Foster died at his own hand. Sure. There's been a lot of people around the Clintons to die at their own hands. And when I say a lot, I mean a staggering number of people that are just tied to Hillary and Bill. All right, the next few of them, I'm just going to rattle off real quick. I'm not going to read the whole things. But Paula Jones and the Monica Lewinsky scandal in 1994. I think we all know what that was all about. Old Bill couldn't keep it in his pants. Then you had Filegate in 1996. The allegation investigators delving into a different scandal found hundreds of FBI files on former White House workers. The information also covered the backgrounds of Republicans in Congress. Outcome: 2 staffers members who obtained the files quit their jobs, and an independent counsel uncovered no wrongdoing by the Clintons themselves. Benghazi, 2012. Extremists seized the U.S. diplomatic compound in Benghazi, Libya on September 11, 2012, killing Ambassador Chris Stevens and 3 other Americans. Members of Congress have accused Clinton of offering misleading comments about the nature of the attack and failing to protect Americans. Which this one really could have brought her down. It's odd that it didn't. The outcome: the House Committee on Benghazi interviewed Clinton in an 11-hour-long hearing last year, but this was in 2000. It was in 2011 that they did the interview, and had not issued a public report on its findings. The work of the committee has been criticized as partisan by House Democrats, but their suspicions were fueled by remarks from House Majority Leader, then Representative Kevin McCarthy, who publicly suggested the panel's work had helped drive down Clinton's poll numbers in the presidential race. An investigation by the Accountability Review Board outlined systematic security failings by managers at the State Department. Earlier work by other congressional committees found that intelligence analysts had shifted views about the nature and motivation for the attack. And then in 2015, you had the Clinton Foundation, where the allegations were Republican lawmakers and watchdog groups have asked whether Clinton Foundation, established in 1997, engaged in conflict of interest or, quid pro quo deals during Hillary Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State. Speeches by both Bill and Hillary Clinton to private groups and foreign governments have also been called into question. Iowa Senator Charles Grassley, the Republican chairman of the Judiciary Committee, and conservative watchdog at Judicial Watch are investigating the matters. Outcome. Congressional and outside investigations are ongoing. Republican lawmakers have asked whether the FBI is investigating dealings between the foundation and its donors. The State Department officials, but federal authorities have not publicly confirmed those topics are under law enforcement scrutiny. Doesn't seem like a lot that the Clintons do is ever under much scrutiny by law enforcement. And in 2015, another pretty big one, and this one helped really sew up the election for her, I think. I think there was just too much going on with the private email server at a time where she's trying to run for president. The allegation is the FBI and Justice Department are investigating whether Clinton's private email server compromised government secrets during her tenure at the State Department. The outcome: FBI agents are continuing their work on the investigation and have interviewed several of Clinton's top aides. You know, the ones that were breaking up cell phones and hard drives with hammers in parking lots. Clinton has said she will cooperate as well. The State Department Inspector General recently concluded Clinton did not follow the rules for safeguarding information, that she had not asked for approval to use the private server and would not have been granted permission had she sought it. Okay. So what we're getting right there is there was obviously a crime committed. But this is why Hillary Clinton failed in 2016, Democrats. This vast list. And there's still more. There's still more. Those are just things that went to 2016. Or to the beginning of 2016 to the end of 2015. Those are just some of the things. Just some. Then if you go off her like personal speeches here and there and around, she said some completely crazy things. She's made racist comments. You name it, she's done it. She's pandered to everybody she can pander to. She's fake as all get out, and everybody knows that. The woman doesn't have the energy or the strength to hold presidential power. During 2016, that election cycle, how many pictures are there and videos are there of her like falling out, passing out, or acting just weird? Come on. That's why she didn't get elected. She was just a bad choice on y'all's part. Y'all nominated the wrong person. Get over it. Fix your policies and the way y'all think about things, and you'll have a better chance in the future. But as of right now, I don't see us voting for a Democrat president, nor should we, for the safety of our country. Too much socialism stuff being talked in the Democratic Party nowadays. But alright, I'm going to get off here. Just wanted to share some of that information with y'all. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side.